everybody. Welcome back. Today's Ask Susan question is a really important one, especially for couples building a new life together. This month's Ask Susan question was, Dear Susan, does having a blended family mean that our finances should be blended as well? And my quick answer is not necessarily. Because blending a family and blending finances are two very different activities, and both require intentional planning, thoughtful discussion, and clear agreement between partners. The truth is, there is no one right answer that works for every blended family. Some couples do great combining everything, others prefer to keep finances separate. But for many blended families, the healthiest approach is often some type of hybrid structure. And here's why. When you bring two families together, both partners typically bring different money habits, different parenting styles, and different responsibilities into the home. There may also be major differences in things like income, assets, debt, and even the amount of time children spend in the blended household. For example, one partner might have more children than the other, or the children may live with one parent full time and visit the other part time. There may be child support or alimony involved. The reality is that in many blended families, one partner comes in with more financial resources than the other. So, if a couple blends everything automatically without having the hard conversations, it can create confusion and stress. And stress around money can quickly turn into stress about fairness, responsibility, and even belonging in the family. That's why I often recommend what I call a yours, mine, and ours approach, especially for blended families. This typically looks like having a joint household account and separate individual savings and retirement accounts. Your joint household account can cover the shared expenses that keep the family running. Things like mortgage or rent, utilities, groceries, insurance, household supplies, and shared family expenses. Because for many blended families, keeping certain accounts separate doesn't mean you aren't a team. It actually provides clarity and protection for everyone involved. And in many cases, I will suggest that the couple both contribute to a joint portfolio as well to build a joint future together. This is also where I want to highlight something important. Fair doesn't always mean equal. Trying to split everything 50-50 can actually create problems, especially if there's a large disparity in income or wealth between partners. If one partner earns significantly more, a strict 50-50 split may put too much pressure on the lower income partner. In those situations, it often makes more sense to use a percentage-based contribution towards shared household expenses. So instead of thinking we each pay the same dollar amount, you might decide that each person contributes a fair percentage based on their income. That helps the household feel balanced without creating unnecessary strain or resentment. But even with a good structure in place, one of the biggest and most emotional challenges in blended families is the question, what happens when some children receive more financial support than others? And that's where I want to be very clear because this can be a sensitive topic. In blended families, children may not have equal financial circumstances. One child may have another parent contributing more, another child may have grandparents providing extra support, one child may have college fully funded while another does not, or one child may have higher costs just due to medical needs, activities, or other special circumstances. So instead of forcing everything to be perfectly equal at all times, the goal should be to create a household where every child feels supported, secure, and valued without turning finances into a measure of love. A practical way to do this is to establish what I call a household fairness baseline. This means agreeing on what your household will provide consistently for all children. Things like basic needs, similar expectations, consistent rules, and thoughtful budgeting for shared experiences like birthdays, back to school basics, or family outings. And then there's one area where differences between children show up the most, and that is college funding. College expenses can become a major point of tension in blended families, especially if one partner has been saving for years and the other is starting from scratch, or if one child has more outside support than another. That's why I strongly recommend treating college funding as its own separate savings bucket or account. This could mean having separate 529 plans for each child, a separate education savings account, or even a plan where each parent is responsible for funding their own child's education as long as that decision is discussed openly and agreed upon. The most important thing is that both partners understand what the plan is, what is realistic, and what is fair, so no one feels surprised later. Because what creates the most problems isn't always the imbalance itself, it's when imbalance is unspoken, unclear, or handled quietly in a way that builds resentment over time. So if you're blending a family, my best advice is this: don't assume finances should automatically be blended. Instead, work together to build a structure that creates clarity, fairness, protection, and teamwork. And remember, this is not a one-time conversation. It's something you revisit as your family changes. To bring it all together, does having blended family mean your finances should be blended too? Not automatically. The best financial structure is the one you both agree on and one that supports the health of your relationship and the stability of your family over time. So thanks again for the great question. And as always, if you'd like help creating a plan that fits your household, feel free to reach out and I will see you in next month's Ask Susan topic about your home, residency, and retirement.
Thank you for watching. Ask Susan is an educational column created by Styles Financial Services. SFSI is an SEC, fee-only RIA in Minnesota. Information presented is to be used for conversational purposes only, with the intent to spark a dialogue between you and your financial professional to see if it pertains to your own unique circumstances. This is not the receipt of or a substitute for personalized advice from Styles Financial or any other investment professional, and is not intended as an offer of solicitation for the sale or purchase of any specific securities, investments, or investment strategies. Styles Financial Services is not a law firm or accounting firm, and no portion of this program should be interpreted as legal, accounting, or tax advice. Viewers are encouraged to seek advice from a qualified tax, legal, or investment advisor to determine whether any information presented may be suitable for their specific situation.